Hello everyone, this is DD1 here, and today I'm going to be showing you another prototype life-size. So this one is the 2009 life-size pink sock Cauldron Witch. Now for those of you that know about this item, this was released, it was sold at Shoppers Drug Mart exclusively in 2009 in Canada, and it was only sold in Canada. There might have been a second place that carried it, but if so, it was in Canada only. This piece, however, I got in the United States. And there are many differences with this item. Right off the bat, you might notice the dress. That's the biggest thing. The dress is not cut up. If you look at any green sock, Cauldron Witch, or pink sock, you'll see that there's a bunch of little snips and little tears and scraggly pieces at the bottom of the dress. This one's dress is perfectly in shape. There's no random marks, there's no random pieces missing or hanging or anything like that. So that's the biggest thing, first off, just looking at it. The other thing, of course, is that it has a 2008 head, not a 2009 head. The 2009 head's got the kind of smaller eyeballs that Gemmy kept using from that point on. The 2008 still kind of had the slightly larger eyes and different paint job, a little bit of pink on the cheeks, stuff like that. Another thing that's pretty crazy about this piece is the program. This piece, when you first plug it in, it just does the same thing and same audio, all of that. However, when I first got this item, there were multiple things wrong with it. First of all, the cauldron was missing. The stir stick was also missing. These are, I believe, actually from a green sock witch that is produced. The head had multiple issues. Mainly the mouth was just broken on it. And then the knob was either missing or broken for the head tilt. So the head was just kind of flopping around loosely. So she was in pretty rough shape overall. And she needed a lot of work, and she needed some, circuitry work because her cauldron would not move. No matter which cauldron I put on this item, it would not stir around, and I didn't know why. But I had CJ Wilbur visiting me last year sometime, and we looked into it because it was kind of beyond my control. And one thing I noticed when I first tested this piece, when I got it, is that one of the phrases, she actually sways back and forth longer, like after the audio stops for a few seconds, which only seems to happen on the 2006 and 7 Cauldron Witches. But then all the other phrases, she doesn't do that. And I was thinking to myself, this is for 2009, it's a couple of years later, why is she doing that? And why is it only on that one phrase? Well, I opened up the base, and there was a separate chip on the circuit board. And if you don't know what that means, when something is a sample, like the early samples, or sometimes it's just random, frankly, because there's so many samples made each year. When a sample is really early, it's going to have, at least for older items, it's going to have an EEPROM, something like that. And then for later samples, or samples where the program is already made for production, nothing's changed, they're just going to use the production board. But if there's a slight change to the program, but it's already done, there might be a separate chip on it. So basically, the little memory sound chip that's normally directly on the board is separate, and there's wires going from it to all the spots on the board where it would normally flow. And that's done for various reasons, but yeah, so seeing that was really cool. And we were still confused though. It's like, aside from the one phrase where she sways a little longer, what is the purpose for the separate chip? Why did they decide to go out of their way and give her one? And it turns out it's because she has a different function for the cauldron. So normally Cauldron Witches have a program where, she stirs one way and then the other way and then the other way again. With this Cauldron Witch, she stirs constantly during the phrase. So she'll start slow and then speed up, and she'll stir one direction as she talks, and then as she stops talking, she slowly winds down with the stirring action. And I just think that's really neat, and it makes it different. Really wasn't expecting that at all from this item. I just assumed, oh look, it's got an early version of the costume on. But no, it actually has a program difference and a separate chip, which is really cool. And you know, the head is original. All the cosmetics, clothing-wise at least, are original. Just the star stick and cauldron are not. But now we're going to take a close-up look at it. I'm trying not to talk for a million hours here. So as you can see, she has the 2008 head. Her warts might be a little bit more like pinkish than normal. I haven't really taken the time to compare. There's some like little black specks on her mask for some reason. Looks kind of typical for a 2008 head. Maybe there's a little bit more pink on the face to match the dress. Here's the heads that were used from like 2009 on. So you can see the eyes are smaller, the paint's a little different, stuff like that. So the produced models of this item will have a head that looks like this. The neck area will not be cut down as much as this one. They only did that for like the later ones, but it'll still have that, you know, extra neck right there, but it'll kind of be looking like this. So you can just see the difference there. And then, like I mentioned towards the beginning, you have the dress, which, you know, you can see it's completely straight. There's not all of those cuts in it. And then you have the boots, the socks. You can see that on here, and there's Velcro, so you can actually just undo them and take them off, for the sock part at least. I don't know if production is like that, because I don't own a produced Cauldron Witch with socks. And then there was a label right here. This label, I had a life-size prototype that actually had two of the same label for some reason. And we could see a little tear, like a little corner of the label that was there, but it had been removed and scraped off for the most part. And there was residue, and it was the same shape, so obviously there was one right there. And in factory photos and whatnot, I've seen labels in that same spot for witches. So we took that duplicate label and we put it there just because, you know, she had one originally. But I wanted to clarify that in case somebody saw the number and was like, that's not the right number or something like that. You know, that's just purely for show, just to represent how it would have looked. And the other piece didn't need two of the exact same label. I think that was a mistake by the factory anyways. And there's a little bit of a QC Pass sticker right there. This just does not want to stand up for some reason. Yeah, here's the back, all typical back there. And then that's where it plugs in. And yeah, there's really not much more to say about how it looks and everything. This one hand is kind of warped. Maybe it's intentional so that it can't go on all the way with the stick, so it just kind of sits up there, but it works. And I've not checked to see if that's a modification, like maybe it would get stuck if it kept going one direction and it was down all the way. I don't know. But yeah, there's really not much more to say about it besides that she works great. Her eyes move really quickly. And yeah, I'm not going to be plugging in the Cauldron for this. If you want to see what those do, there's plenty of examples online. Now she's plugged in, so without further ado, we will demonstrate her. I don't know why I say we. You guys may have been noticing that. It's only me here. I'm demonstrating, so I think I'm just so used to, you know, the old GMA days where I would say we, but I will now demonstrate her for you.
Cauldron bubble. Come in here and you're in trouble.
So a couple things there. You could see first of all that the Cauldron went one direction, the whole phrase, and that was the phrase that's programmed like the older models where it sways a little bit after the audio is done, which I kind of like. You know, it just kind of adds a little something to it. But all the other phrases, I don't believe, have that extra swaying. But we'll play, I will play through the rest of the phrases now.
Just in time for
She also starts slaying a lot earlier into the phrase than normal.
What a delicious looking person. Come in here and you're in trouble.
So there she is. Everything moves pretty perfectly. The eyes move super quick and well. The mouth opens and closes very well. The stirring works great. She is a little clanky at the hips, but still working. And I really couldn't be happier. But anyways, guys, that is the 2009 Gemmy life-size pink sock Cauldron Witch with constant stirring function prototype. Thanks for watching.